Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the country or in the world, and whether you're watching this live or on repeat. It's much better live. Busy, busy, busy time. Today is a very, very big step for us. I know I normally do my little webinars on Tuesdays, and I know it's normally a little bit later, but today this is a special event. I think you're going to like what we've got to talk about. We are going to get to all of you. We have got many, many people watching live on this webinar. People from Finland, Ireland, the Netherlands, Argentina, Denmark, South Africa, the UK, Winnipeg in Canada, Hamburg in Germany. You name it, there's somebody here from everywhere. We also later on have got Marco Cantu and Ben Schwenk live answering the questions as well. The first section will be pre-recorded, so it will be a recording. My messages are blowing up. I've muted as many as I can, but it's still going bing, bing, bing in the background. That's how big a deal it is. But we're going to start off with a live, with a pre-recorded video, and then we'll go to live Q&A afterwards. See you in about 30 minutes. Have fun and enjoy it. It's a big day.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And on behalf of the entire Embarcadero team, thank you for being here. We appreciate you being a part of this webinar today. My name is Ben Schwenk. I'm General Manager here at Embarcadero, and I'm happy to be with you today for what is not just another product announcement, but for something that is truly a milestone in the ongoing evolution of RAD Studio. Now, for over 3 decades, developers have trusted Delphi and C Builder to build powerful applications and build them more rapidly than traditional approaches. And throughout that history, we've seen the industry itself change significantly several times, whether it was client server or the web or mobile or the cloud. And today, of course, as everyone knows, we're experiencing yet another transformational shift in artificial intelligence. And the question isn't whether AI will change software development. I think we know that it already has. The question is, how can RAD Studio developers take advantage of that shift while continuing to build those same apps and services and solutions that they and so many others rely upon every day? And that question is why we're here. Today, we're introducing Kai. And Kai is a new chapter for RAD Studio. And Kai really represents our vision for what AI-assisted development in RAD Studio should be. It's designed, obviously, to help developers work more quickly, to work more efficiently in complex code bases, and to automate a lot of those mundane tasks that have traditionally consumed a lot of valuable development time. And I think, just as importantly, we've approached AI with Kai in a way that reflects the values of our community. For example, we believe in power, but balanced with simplicity. We believe in openness and freedom of choice. We believe in increasing the value of our tools while reducing the time that it takes for our developers to realize that value. And maybe, most importantly, we believe that AI should work alongside developers, not in place of them, to keep them productive and to give them full control. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm excited to introduce Kai to you. And we've actually spent the past several months preparing for exactly this moment. And I hope you're going to like what you see. But my words can only go so far. So at this point, I'd like you to check out Kai's capabilities for yourself in this short demo video. And then our PM Marco will walk through the product in much greater detail.
Welcome to Kai, your new AI assistant for Delphi, C Builder, and RAD Studio. Let's build a small demo and explore the main capabilities in under 3 minutes. We will start with a plain VCL project and open the AI agent. First, you decide which AI service provider you want to use, local or cloud. Let's select Copilot for this demo. Now, let's ask the agent to create an easy but fully working Delphi demo. Just type in your instructions for Kai to get started. Kai then examines and understands your project and can generate code directly for your application. As you can see here, Kai has full access to your IDE and can add any controls to your forms. It has also compiled the project, so we're ready to run the application. Kai saves valuable time by handling the boilerplate code for you, so instead of repetitive tasks, you can focus on building great applications while the AI does the heavy lifting. As you type, Kai provides inline AI completions directly inside the editor with ghost text. Typing is now much faster, and the suggestions can be more complex and contain multiple lines of ready-to-use code. If you prefer, suggestions can be included in the completion window instead. The choice is up to you. Kai can also generate larger blocks of code using panel completions. Based on the surrounding code, generated suggestions can be really advanced with multiple blocks of code. Kai also offers more than one suggested solution. Just hit the button and it will be inserted into the editor. Kai can also help fix compiler errors by analyzing the code and compiler output. Here, we wanted to get the text from the edit box. We let Kai fix it and run the application. And, without any work from us, the error is fixed. Kai keeps you inside your IDE while bringing powerful AI assistance directly into your development workflow. Download Kai today and discover what it can help you build. Kai is more than an AI add-on. It is the next evolution of RAD Studio, built for speed, power, and flexibility. Welcome to the future of RAD. Welcome to Kai.
This is Marco, and I'm going to show you some of the features in Kai. Before I do that, I want to give you a quick introduction of why you might want to use Kai. The first reason is to stay in the flow. The ability to work entirely within RAD Studio, turning prompts into working code, running builds, applying fixes without having to switch context. It's great to have smarter coding built into the IDE. You can boost your productivity while not having to change your usual way of working. You can use inline autocomplete powered by AI. We can use rich code suggestions. It's really an extension to your editor with additional capabilities that really change the way you can work. The third reason is that unlike other tools, you can not only work on code, but you can also generate or modify UIs. You can create working prototypes. You can create small applications completely by vibe coding, just describing your idea and letting Kai create the code for you, including the user interface and wiring event handlers. You can also use Kai to modernize your code. If you have existing application and you want to change things, again, in the visual, in the libraries, in the actual code, leveraging new features of Delphi and C++ Builder, you can use Kai to help you. The other reason you might want to use Kai is that you're not locked into a single vendor or a single provider. You can use several options. You can use local options. You can use some of the most powerful tools in the industry, and you can decide what to pick, what provides the best balance in terms of speed, cost, and capability. Kai is enterprise ready by design. There's no proxy layer via Embarcadero servers. We do not receive anything from you, any of your code. There is not a mandatory cloud dependency. You can decide that your code stays under your control. You can use LM Studio, you can use Olama on your developer machine or on your local network and have only local communication with them. Local models provide a lot of additional protection. When privacy matters, we really recommend you to go in that direction. Now, let me guide you through some of the features, but before we actually do that, let me give you some ideas in terms of the installation and the configuration. Kai is going to be available in Get It for RAD Studio 13 and 12. It's also going to be available in the download portal at my.embarcadero.com. You can install it for both the 32-bit and 64-bit versions of the IDE. You can easily download and install Get It, but you also need a license key. We are going to make available free 30-day trials for every developer currently on 13 or 12. More information will be available later in this webinar. The installation guides you through a couple of very simple steps. You can pick which of the integrations for the local LLMs, command line interfaces, CLI tools. You need your own key or subscription, whether it's free or paid, up to you, to one or more of these engines to be able to use them effectively in Kai. Once it's installed, the splash screen is not only going to indicate Kai is there, but it's also going to indicate if the license is active. Once it is installed, Kai adds a configuration section in the RAD Studio Tools Options dialog. There are 3 sub-pages. One is where you configure completions, so the code completion or the suggestions that you can get on specific lines of code. The second option is for configuring chats. And of course, you can configure more than one provider for your chats, whether it's local or remote. The third tab is for configuring additional MCP servers outside of what Kai and RAD Studio automatically provide. Now let's finally go into a little more details of some of the features you've already seen in the initial video and we're going to demo later on. So the first thing is Ghost Text. Ghost Text is a code completion suggestion, but rather than showing in the code completion windows, it shows immediately in the editor with a slight slant, so you can see that the second show message there is partially completed automatically. It appears after a short pause. You can just press the tab key to accept or press escape to dismiss, or keep typing and keep typing over what the suggestion is providing. Notice that this is fully context aware. In this very simple example, because the first message is show hello, the AI is going to suggest, or at least the time I took the screenshot, suggested me to add the word world. You can add a comment, for example, to help drive the AI to do something that you are interested in. The same feature is available with a different UI by integrating the Kai suggestions in the code inside code completions. So it will pop up on top of the other regular information. In this case, because I started typing show, you get properties and the show procedure. But because I added a comment on the line above, the suggestion that Kai is providing me is a more comprehensive show message format with different information, the current date and time, and so forth. So it's not just code completion, it's a significant suggestion based on the context, in this case, primarily the comment above. Now, when you need more than a single line because you want help in writing some slightly more complex code snippets, you can use suggestions. This is a dedicated panel that shows up when you're asking for a suggestion, and you can just right-click somewhere in your code and generate a suggestion. The suggestion is multi-line, is also, of course, completely context-aware. And in this case, because I want to convert amounts to string, and we're just providing an enumeration, I'm going to get the fairly tedious code to write, which is mapping the different months to a string. Now, there's also a first suggestion, which just uses a low-level trick that Delphi makes available, which is using get enum name, so extracting the type information from the actual enumerated value. Whether you want to go one way or the other, up to you. You can just select one of the suggestions and ask Kai to put it in the actual code. While suggestions are certainly great, where things really go at a different level is within the Kai chat, because the Kai chat is a fully integrated assistant in the IDE that is not just going to tell you the code that you can put into your application, providing indications, suggestions, ideas, recommendations, like any other AI chat, but it can do things for you. It can actually edit your source code. As I was mentioning, not just edit the source code, but also edit your designers, your FireMonkey or VCL designers open in the IDE at that time. It can compile an application, look for compiler errors, and try to fix the errors on your behalf. It can implement new features. There is one flag at the bottom of the chat that indicates if you want to make the chat read-only, so it's going to read your source, read the information in the IDE, but do not make any change. Or you can give the agent permission to ask you for specific operations before doing them, or just giving them full access and give them the freedom to make change. In the chat, you can also pick for each vendor multiple engines, multiple LLMs that are available. You can see a couple of examples here. In the chat, you can also add file references, and you can also issue specific commands to do operations that you are interested in. This is a fully agentic chat that uses MCP to loop back to the RAD Studio IDE. So Kai is also an MCP engine for the RAD Studio IDE. It can orchestrate workflows. It can handle files on the file system or handle files in the editor, even files that are not saved, because you can work on the editor buffer. It can resolve build errors. It can manage version control. It can do a lot of operations on your behalf inside the IDE. And you can also, as I mentioned, integrate with other MCP tools you have available. Kai offers the ability to automatically compile and fix errors in the compiler by reading the compiler output and attempting to fix the code on your behalf. By providing MCP servers for version control, for other tools in your toolchain, in your own toolchain, you can extend Kai to leverage the entire infrastructure you're using. If we want to see a picture of the Kai architecture, in essence, is that Kai is talking with some of the local CLIs for the various vendors. And then these CLIs can send back MCP requests to RAD Studio itself using Kai. And of course, some of these are going to also communicate and talk with the backend servers they rely on, or for local engines with the local installation of an LLM. That is all in terms of theory. Let's have a look to a few nice demos. To start our demo, I have configured Kai completions to use Ghost Text and use GitHub Copilot. So with this configuration, I have this very simple one-button application with list of integers. Let me actually do one change, and it is adding form create event handler. And here I want to, of course, create the list. This is what the AI suggests in the Ghost text. So I'm going to go for it. And then the other thing I want to do is add numbers to the list. So let me add a comment. And now with the comment uses context, when I press, it's suggesting me to add 10. And let's do another number. And now it's suggesting me to add 20. Well, even if I mistyped. Now we want to show some information about our list. Let's see if we can get a suggestion. Well, it's suggesting us to show the first number, this is not what I want. Show list items count. That's probably a better suggestion. Let me do another round, and this time I got what I was looking for, which is the items in the list. If we prefer, we can use a different UI. Let me get back to the project options and go for the code inside symbol. If I do something similar, this is certainly better. I'm getting show message of the first item converted to a string. Two different UIs, but the same basic behavior. Now let's assume we want to do something a little more complicated. So let me add a second button. In this second button, what I want to do is I want to create an edit box in the form with a comment explaining what I want. I can go to Kai Suggestions. It's open a suggestion window that is going to offer me one or more suggestions of how to implement the same. Suggestion one is fairly simple and direct, but it's limited. In the second one, it has certainly weird code. This suggestion 4 is slightly more interesting, and I'm not sure why, but it's adding the value to the edit into the string. This is not terribly logical because, of course, this has just been created, so the text is not terribly useful and it's always going to fail. So probably what we want to do here is grab this and put it into an event handler for the edit box. You don't always get perfect suggestions, but you can certainly get interesting suggestions and ideas on how to write the code of your application. Let's decide that we just don't want this extra bit. We want to compile the app and then add the edit underneath the button aligned with button 1 and using a proper spacing. That's very simple code snippet created for us by Kai Suggestions. Let's now move to have a look to the Kai chat. In the Kai chat, you can create a new session, and when you're creating a new session, you can pick the vendor that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use Codex for OpenAI. Once it's ready, Kai just asks you what you want to build. And here you can type your request. So what I want to do here is to create an application that's going to have two buttons to display the date and some weather information. I want to give full access because I want this to be agentic. Let's pick one of the engines and let's go for it. As you can see, you can get information about what's going to happen. Suggesting to create a new VCL project skeleton. This is really accessing the file system, mostly looking for available file names. It's now creating the application for us, creating the Pascal file and the form. So now this is opening the project. It's actually trying to build it, but it got into an issue. It couldn't really compile the form. It's trying to go with a different approach. Now it's making another attempt. It could compile the application, and it's describing what it did. It's opening the project in RAD Studio. Let's actually dock this here so we can keep it at hand a little bigger. And we can check what was done. It ended up doing the simple thing for the first button, showing a message. For the second button, it put the code into this get Florence temperature, which is using Indy HTTP and SSL, and using an API. to read the meteo, doing JSON processing for the value, and then displaying the actual result and cleaning up the temporary object that it created. Let me actually run the application. Show the current date, which is, well, yesterday, if you're looking this on the webinar, and get the temperature in Florence. So I'm actually asking to switch back to using the HTTP client library because I don't have a copy of OpenSSL. And I really prefer using the HTTP client library. So let's have a peek to the code, which is now using HTTP client. Let me try to run it again and get the Florence temperature. And it's telling me that is 21 Celsius. We have built an application. We had to go through some attempts. First, Kai tried to use HTTP client library, decided to switch to Indy. I asked the system to switch back to using HTTP client library, and it did everything by doing JSON processing. I, of course, have no idea of the specific API it's being called and the format, but it was able to figure out and give me a working application that gets me the temperature in Florence. And of course, the reason I picked Florence is because I'm running this in RAD Studio 13 Florence. So that is quite extraordinary. But let me try something else. I know we kind of went through it already, so it shouldn't really be an issue. Let's try to inject a couple of silly errors here in the code. If I now try to compile this, the code won't compile, but I don't want to fix it manually. I'm going to say the code doesn't compile anymore. Can you fix it? And let's go for it. So it tries to compile. It's actually reading the error messages and then trying to figure out what's happening. It figures out there are some invalid references. I know that was easy. And now it went through, updated the variable names to the right names, and it is actually working. Now let me try another thing. Let's assume we forgot one of the usage statements. And again, this breaks the application. Fix it again. It's a slightly different issue at this time. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to find the issue, but well, we can give it a go. It's building. It's not finding the symbol. The HTTP units were removed from the usage section. Oh yes, I did it. Now it's adding those again. And it went to the wrong libraries. So now it's making another attempt to get the right libraries. So I think now we're at a point that the application is going to compile and run and work. So again, this is quite marvelous. To finish our set of Kai demos, I want to show something different. First, I want to create a FireMonkey application this time, but also I want to use C++ as the programming language. So again, I'm going to give full access. I'm going to go for specific LLM, and let's see if this works out. So it's looking into what to do, checking if we have an active project. Oh, it's actually suggesting us to do a multi-device C++ application in RAD Studio. I think we can do it. Let me show the chat again. So now it's checking what is the active RAD Studio project. It's working actually in the editor. It actually found unit 1 CPP, right? And the .h file. It's changing them along with the fmx file. Working on the various files, adding the button. Now building the application. And it's done. It's describing us the work. Let's actually check it for ourselves. Put the chat here on the side, and we see there is code and there is a designer with the button. I assume we can run it, and it's working. So I was primarily demoing Delphi, but everything works in C++. I was showing VCL, but now I've been showing FireMonkey. So there is a lot that Kai can do regardless of the type of application you are building.
Well, I hope with these videos, the value of Kai is now apparent, and I hope you're wondering, how in the world do I get my hands on it? One thing that we felt very strongly about from the beginning was reducing friction. We didn't want customers evaluating Kai through a limited demo environment or a reduced feature set. And for that reason, Kai includes a fully functional 30-day trial experience. Now, if you're already using RAD Studio 12 or 13, getting started is very straightforward. You'll soon be delivered a redemption link to request your free Kai trial key. And then once you have that key, you should be able to redeem nearly instantaneously and then simply activate the key through the license manager and then install Kai directly from Get It once it's publicly available. If you're new to RAD Studio or you're off maintenance and support and you wish to try it, you can download a RAD Studio trial and Kai will automatically be included. The bottom line is that it doesn't take long to get up and running with Kai. And on a personal note there, I actually downloaded, activated, and began using Kai myself. And within 5 minutes, I had vibe coded a fully functional calculator app for Windows with full Windows theming support. And the Kai agent had created the source, it had added the theme support to the source, it had compiled, it successfully troubleshot a compile error, and then it built and ran the app on my system. Now, I know that term vibe coding is turning some stomachs right now, but for someone like me who hasn't written a single line of Delphi code yet, it felt like magic. And the point is that Kai is easy to install and easy to begin using, easy to see the value of. And most importantly, it's been designed to work inside real-world Delphi workflows. So real projects, real code bases, and real productivity gains. I think you'll recognize the value of Kai very quickly when you begin integrating it into your natural development experience. Okay, so you're sold on Kai's value and you're ready to get started. So what does licensing look like? Well, we've offered Kai as a standalone annual subscription. It's available for Delphi, C++ Builder, and RAD Studio customers at a flat rate of $249 per year. Now, we intentionally kept the licensing model simple, so pricing is the same across all editions, Professional, Enterprise, and Architect. But just as importantly, this subscription helps fund the ongoing investment required to keep Kai modern, reliable, and rapidly evolving along with the industry in this ever-shifting AI landscape. And to that point, you should expect to see frequent updates and improvements, not only to support changes across the leading AI providers, but also to deliver new features, deeper integrations, and expanded capabilities over time. And I want to emphasize something important here. Kai is not pulling resources away from existing RAD Studio development. We've actually made significant additional investments in dedicated engineering and ongoing maintenance specifically for Kai. And you'll see that commitment reflected very clearly in the months ahead. One additional note, Kai does require active maintenance and support, and the subscription period for Kai will align with your existing renewal date to simplify management and renewals. For new customers, Kai will be available for purchase with a new RAD Studio license, and it will renew along with that license's maintenance and support. If you're an existing customer, once Kai is available, reach out to your Embarcadero sales rep or your reseller to add Kai to your current environment. They'll get you up and running. And finally, I just want to mention this is really only the beginning for Kai. We believe that AI-assisted development will become an increasingly important part of the RAD Studio experience in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned, because if I can build a calculator, then I genuinely cannot wait to see what you build with it.
I muted my mic. I was getting so many pings coming through. People were going, "Hey, we can hear your mic. Did you like that?" I told you it was going to be a big deal, and I'm waiting for my colleagues to turn on their screens, their cameras, and then I can put them live. There we go. Joining me live is Marco Cantu. Hi, Marco. Oh, so many questions. I tell you, it's going crazy. Ben is around. Oh, here we go. And joining us live as well is GM Ben Schwenk as well. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Yeah, it's I can tell you now, I've never seen so many questions and positive statements as well. It's great stuff. Lots and lots of questions. I think most of the questions we actually answered in the video as we went along. There were people saying, "How does it work? How do you get it?" All those kind of things. So we have included those in there. Now, just a bit of a housekeeping question. I'll probably cover this bit and let you guys answer some other questions. It's a big deal for us. This is a very big introduction. Lots going on. I personally have had virtually no sleep for the last few days. Marco Cantu also should be looking extremely tired because he's working very hard. And Ben was messaging me quite late at night as well. Everybody is pulling in the company has been pulling very hard for this, and there's a lot going on. We are pushing things out. We've had people already say they've downloaded Kai already, and one person, the comments are going past so fast I can't get them anymore. The restream has given up letting me star the comments. It's like, no, you got too many, I'm going to give up. But we are still pushing out a lot of the infrastructure, so blog posts, website, all of these things are happening as we speak now, because we didn't want to give the game away before we got it. But I believe that this page is now live, which is the Embarcadero Kai website. I can see Ben quickly going to see as we speak, just to check. But if not,
no, I don't think it's live.
It's not live. Oh, okay. Well, look, if you're watching this on the replay, hopefully it was gone live by then.
Oh yeah.
For those of you that want to as well, if you scan the QR code, that just goes to the link I've shown in the bottom as well. But that's the Kai website. I'm sorry if it's not live at the moment. As I said, a lot happening, and I believe our blog and our website are seriously being hammered by people coming to have a look. So a couple of questions about multi-year subscriptions and things like that. Ben, I don't know that we've actually talked about whether it would be multi-year. The subscription is per year. That's how we're doing it. Is that right?
Yeah, but I mean, we'll be happy to sell you a multi-year.
Oh, there you go. See the GM always focused on the right things there. Idira will be very happy there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course.
And a few questions. Someone mentioned CodeBot. This is not CodeBot. It's nothing to do with CodeBot. I will comment on behalf of the company that this, because I saw a comment go past, this was in connection with the Kassenbaums. If you know Team Kassenbaum, they're good guys. And yes, you may have seen that product there. We've done a deal with that team, and there is a dedicated development team to Kai to preempt the people saying, well, if you're doing Kai, then you're not going to do this, and my favorite bug is this, and I want it fixed. They're completely different people. the teams that are working on it are actually separate. There's some PM overlap and a few other things as well, but the people working on Kai are dedicated to that, as Ben said in his link in the video, and that's what they do. They work on Kai, and we are expecting to, and we can't promise anything, but we're expecting to release Kai more frequently than we would do, because AI is such a moving target. You know, even in the last 2 weeks, both Google and Anthropic have released changes to the way they do things and the pricing that they've got. And we hope to, you know, make sure that we match that. Who knows where Kai will be in a year's time in terms of what it's capable of doing. It already does a heck of a lot of things, and it's very impressive. When you see it working, it just blows you away. It's great stuff. Ben, have you got some things that you'd like to comment on?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I lost you.
Is there anything that you noticed that you particularly wanted to mention?
Oh, in terms of questions, no,
Yeah.
I was counting on you to field those. So I
have dealt with most of them as well, actually.
You throw the ones at me that I can handle, and
yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'll pick.
there are a couple. I want to.
I was
to
going to come
handle
to you next, yes, and say, Marco, what about you?
Yeah, there are a couple I want to handle up front. I mean, there is someone was asking about C++. I realized when I started demoing, I realized, oh, I was doing too much Delphi. I did actually the last of my demos, the FireMonkey simple one button up, that was 100% C++ builder, and it was a C++ application. Yes, I know, little code, but it was technically a C++ builder form for FireMonkey, completely generated via, I mean, VAT coded via the Kai chat. Both languages work. Of course, the amount of knowledge and information and the quality of the suggestions and actions that you're getting would depend on the LLM and how well they understand our programming languages. Most LLMs have very good grasp of C++, although they might miss some of the nuances in C++ Builder. We have seen an increasingly, I mean, continuous improvements on the knowledge of Delphi for LLMs. Actually, I did another demo this morning for a different person, and I wished I would have done it for the webinar. I asked for, I mean, to just create a list, and I was surprised that the Kai chat generated an inline variable in Delphi, because that's a modern coding style. It's not the most common coding style. You just have your var section, declare the variable there, but it did what I like, and it did the right thing. So it actually ended up generating a very nice, smooth inline var in the right place with the right sequence. So my experience is you can really get good quality Delphi code. But again, C++ does work. Everything is integrated in the IDE, both sides. VCL, FireMonkey, other engines and libraries in my demos, which, as you saw, I was asking for HTTP. At first round, it suggested Indy. I said, no, I don't want Indy. And so I asked to change it. It did quite flawlessly. Both applications were compiling, and so it was not broken, but my preference is for the HTTP client library. So I asked for that.
Yeah, and in fact, some of the questions we had were people saying, "Oh, what models will it work with?" Yes, it does work with Olama and LM Studio. I know because I've used them myself. I make Marco very jealous of my super duper Mac. If you're going to use local models, you do need a machine somewhere that's up to the task. There are actually some models coming on the market, Framework, who do bizarre machines that you bolt together and you can replace everything, including the CPU. Like the old days, actually, in the 90s, the good old days when you wired everything together yourself. Framework produce an AI-specific machine, but I don't want to be an ad for Apple, but they are producing machines that have got MLS built in, so they have machine learning silicon built into the Apple silicon. So if you want to do local, it is possible to do it. I actually use local models, and it works fine on my machine in terms of performance. But I have got a high-end machine. If you built up a network server somewhere and put a sufficiently powerful configuration on there, then you could have it all networked. We're not telling you how to use it, and we're not telling you to use it. Some people have said, yeah, this isn't for me. I want to use Codex, or I want to use Claude Code or whatever. That's fine. That's the whole point of us delivering this via Get It. 2 reasons. First of all, we don't want to force people to use AI who don't want to use it. You've always had the choice. That is our policy, that we allow you, and it's off by default. Smart Code Insight is off by default, but if you turn it on, you can pick which you want. Do you want to use Copilot? Fine. If you don't like Copilot and you want to use Claude, fine. The same with Kai. If you want to use it, install it via Get It, and then you can pick local models, cloud models, or a combination, because there is a different choice between the chat, the Kai chat, and the Kai completions. So you can have a cloud model for one, and the completions, for example, might be via Copilot, which actually got quite a generous allowance for that. So you can mix and match it, mix and match it. Told you it's been a long day, didn't I? It's not enough sleep. But again, you know, we're not trying to force you to do this. I know some people are like, yeah, I'm not ever going to use this. Fine. That we've told you about it. Hopefully in the future, you know, we'll keep working on Kai and add features that maybe will encourage you to go in that direction. But it's about choice. As Ben said at the opening of his link, we're here to we take it very seriously. I've used this analogy before. When you're sitting at the keyboard and you're coding, we know that RAD Studio, we are in spirit sitting next to you, helping you make that happen. And we take that very seriously. Marco has always been a Delphi fan. You all know that. I'm a Delphi guy and a Delphi fan as well. And we care about that language. We care about C++ Builder as well. But Marco and I are very much Delphi people. I think that's true. Someone said, the only issue I have, and it's kind of a dig at you here, Ben. The only issue I have is that guy saying he never wrote a line of Delphi code. You're a technical guy, right, Ben? I mean,
yes, I've written code. I to my shame, I have Marco's book, and I have just been so busy that I haven't. I mean, I could have made the time to, you know, start diving into it. But
I'm sorry, you have to go stand in the corner now. That's it. Yeah, Marco and I make you take some tests later. Yeah, I mean, in your defense, your job is general manager. Your job is not product management, your developer relations or whatever. But the point you were making, which actually are the reason why I picked this comment so that we could point it out. You've never written Delphi code, and you messaged me. It was a couple of weeks ago that you did it. You went, Ian, look, I've created this calculator. You guys are probably being, I think, making fun of me. I think you said, or something like that. And yeah, we did, because we're like, okay, it's a calculator. But actually, seriously speaking, you haven't written any Delphi code because you've never needed to. It's not what you do. But you were able to use Kai to generate actually a credible app. I saw the screenshot of it, and it's a good app. It looks like something that someone would, you know, take some time and care and, you know, to produce.
And to clarify, I don't think the world needs more AI slop, right? We don't need another calculator app. It was just a proof of concept.
Exactly. You were showing it could be done. You know, exactly. How capable is this AI? Yes. Exactly.
I was having a conversation with one of our tech partners a month or so ago, and he said, he summed it up real well. AI is a force multiplier. If you write good code, AI will multiply the amount of good code that you write and help you accelerate that. If you write bad code, then it will also accelerate that. So, you know, it's
so we'll let you off then.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, joking apart, it actually was a more exciting. Why is it? You know, there's certain members of staff who can ping me even when I put all the do not disturbs on you possibly can get. and some of them can break through it, and they still do it. They know I'm doing a webinar. Why are you messaging me? You know, even though you know, we were joking apart, it was a demonstration there of look, you can do this. This is cool, I think. And so many people. One guy said, "Oh, I've installed it and I'm using it. This is great." And what else are we going to go? Key suggestion: knows the cursor position for not for the chat. I don't know. I suppose in some ways, if you come to us and say, I would like Kai to do X or Y, we are actually going to have on our, I believe it, Marco, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have somewhere where you can open tickets. If you've got suggestions, and I risk myself here, email me if you think, oh, it's a general good idea. If you've got a fully worked out idea and it's an inspiration, you know, don't just like dump a stupid question there. But if you need to, you can raise a ticket about specifically Kai.
Yeah, we are. It's not there because I'm in the webinar, but after the webinar, it will be there. We're going to have a component. We're going to use the same portal as we use for RAD Studio in terms of reporting bugs or suggesting ideas and features for Kai. We're going to add a new component. So once you create a report, you can, rather than picking VCL, FireMonkey, Delphi compiler, whatsoever, you will be able to add to pick this component. Even if you don't, I mean, it's fine. We read those items. We can categorize and push them to the right bucket. But just please use the current quality portal for RAD Studio, also for Kai. The component will be there shortly.
Yeah, and you know, just follow good practices when you're raising those tickets, because we do have to reject tickets that we just can't understand. We don't have enough capacity to go backwards and forwards saying, did you mean this? Did you mean that? No, I mean, just try and use some best practices. If you've got a general idea about something and it's not kind of worked out, there's my email address at the bottom of the screen, and I answer every single email I get. I don't use AI to answer my emails. I personally write them. You'll be able to tell this because of the typos in there and things like that. But I always say this to people. I'm available 7 days a week. I believe in Delphi. It's almost a kind of religious belief. If I'm awake, I'm available. So you want to email me, you will get an answer, and you'll get one quite quickly back as well. That's my job. I'm not some superhero. That's what I'm paid to do. So if you've got, and if you think it's a terrible idea and you think there's some kind of obvious flaw in the way Kai is working or something like that, also let me know that way. A good idea is a good idea. And if you feel that you found something that's a bad idea, let us know that as well, because we genuinely want to take on all feedback and you know, progress it from there. Okay, Marco, I think that most of the questions were kind of preempting things we talked about in the video, so I don't think there's anything that I really want to pick out. Some people say, one guy, some people just moan about nothing. Oh, I think Delphi is so far from other languages. I completely disagree. I mean, I know you would say I would do, but come on.
Yeah, let me pick a couple. I mean, let me pick a couple of other questions. I mean, comments or questions. It's a mix that I'm seeing in the chat. One thing is that right now we support the list of engines that we have indicated. Now, just for clarification, although the list is somehow similar to the list that we support with the smart coding side, the old AI integration with RAD Studio, that is still there, it's not going away. There is a significant architectural difference, because what we're doing is going through local, generally command line interfaces for the agents. So local agents that are installed on your machine. This is required because we want those agents to send commands directly to RAD Studio, and so it cannot be through an HTTP remote connection. Now, these agents, of course, also talk to the backends or talk with the local LLM you have installed on Olama, LM Studio, and others. Now, for the local agents, LM Studio, I think, is OpenAI compatible. So in fact, we're using the same conduits, and you can specify a URL. So if you have another engine that has a compatible API, that's probably going to work. If there are other local engines that have incompatible APIs and you're very interested in using them, of course, we are here to we are listening. This is not a fixed set of AI integration libraries. We'll keep looking into what's growing in the market, what's relevant, and what's relevant for our customers. The other thing that is new to this tool that was not in the previous Smart Code is GitHub Copilot integration. Now, there is a reason for that, because GitHub Copilot can be integrated using a local engine. It cannot be integrated with a REST API because that doesn't exist, or Microsoft hasn't really made it publicly available. So that is the advantage. Now, GitHub Copilot has also a very nice code completion support, because completion goes through a different interface. It's a different configuration. There isn't a full match. I mean, you cannot use all engines for all features. Completions are available only for some of the engines today. But again, there's a lot of movement in this space. And also, technically, we're using ACP, which is another standard for local communication with agents. That is becoming more commonplace. So ideally, we should only support one interface, and then all of the vendors would be compatible. That's not the reality. We have to fine-tune our interfaces for different vendors. But again, the goal is, I'm expecting at some point there will be a more unified and standardized model, and we are going to support it.
Yeah, and people always say, why don't you train your own models and provide models? But already Microsoft are worrying about the cost of it, and that's Microsoft. They've got trillions in the bank. Providing, I mean, there are some providers coming out there like DigitalOcean, for example, have started producing the infrastructure to support your own models and train your own models. But I had a look at it the other day, and I would say it's not quite ready for playtime yet. But obviously, I mean, this is not a company policy, but I think it's inevitable that at some point we will end up with specifically Delphi trained models so that they've got better. But I think that what will happen is actually the AI will get better anyway at Delphi, because the more code that's out there, the more it learns and all the rest of it. These models are way better than they were 2 or 3 years ago, and that's you know, their aim is to be the answer to all your questions. And if it's a coding model, then if your question's about Delphi, then they want to be the answer. So yeah, a few questions about you know, offering multi-year subscriptions at a discount and all the rest of it. The answer there is talk to your salespeople.
We'll get you taken care of. And Ian, can I just jump in here? I've seen a few comments saying that we're unhappy that this costs money. This should be a standard, included with the standard license price. I'll just say that I agree that AI capabilities, I mean, they're becoming an important part of development, ongoing development. I mean, that's why we made a significant investment in Kai, and we intend to continue investing aggressively in it. At the same time, advanced AI tooling at this level, it's evolving really fast, and it requires, dedicated ongoing R&D. And, we're seeing across the industry that those capabilities are more and more delivered as specialized subscription offerings rather than just static features. Right. And I think the market is largely settled on AI assisted development as a, monetizable subscription layer, because the ongoing costs are real. I mean, with the rapid changes that we're seeing across models and providers, and the constant, compatibility maintenance that's required with that. And there's a lot more to consider. I mean, agent infrastructure, UX iteration, security and privacy concerns, ongoing support costs. And this is a deep level of integration with the IDE. This is not just a AI coding chatbot, right? And I think you'll find that with a lot of those other providers, once you get past a certain level of integration, it's going to cost you more. So we have, tried to price this to where it's affordable, it's accessible. I understand not everyone's going to be happy, but this does represent a significant investment on our side, and it's not that unusual for what's going on in the market today. I also wanted to point out,
it's worth pointing out as well, Ben, that and I say this all the time when people talk about, oh, RAD Studio should be free or it should be cheaper or whatever. Idera are the first company for a long time that have actually managed to keep Delphi going and RAD Studio growing. Now, I get it. I'm actually employed by Idera, so of course, you would expect me to say that. But look back at the history of the companies. Borland went bankrupt. Imprise, I think, went bankrupt as well, or at least had to diverse themselves and get rid of all the products. Idera are the first company to actually keep Delphi alive, and I am, as a Delphi guy, I'm very grateful for that. They don't do that by making everything completely, knockdown price. There is a price to pay, and AI is not a poor man's game, unfortunately. Generating AI-related products is incredibly expensive. If you think about the token use that people are complaining about, Salesforce burnt through all their tokens trying to develop their software. Now look at how Kai's developed, the testing that goes on behind that, even just generating, Marco generating the example videos, me generating mine. I'm using local models, so I don't have to pay anybody. But that costs money as well. Those tokens are not free, and the infrastructure is not free. So I'm not trying to excuse the company for charging money, but I'm trying to explain that there is a cost.
Sure. And this again, I just want to reiterate to address some other comments that have come through. We are not pulling resources off of RAD Studio, and we know what the call is for RAD Studio. We know what the call is for our current tooling. We are working aggressively to address that. Kai is supplemental, additional to those efforts. So rest assured, we are not abandoning anything that's important in order to bring Kai to the market.
Yeah, and for those that ask about team licenses and things like that, talk to your salespeople. If you've got teams and you've got groups of licenses, talk to your salespeople, terrify them, because it's a brand new product, so they'll be a little bit fuzzy on some of the details, just like everybody else is. But they've had the necessary information. But talk to them, and we're keen to make this work. We're keen to make this a success, and the shape of the success might change based on the feedback from people as well. So and good to see Peter, ex-colleague of mine. He's installed it. Well done, Pete. I appreciate that. I worked for many years with Pete as well. What else? Will we use it on RAD Studio? Well, we don't really talk about how we use things in the background, but I think you would expect us as a company to want to be looking at how we can leverage AI if we haven't already. And I think, speaking on behalf of the company, giving a kind of politically correct response, most software development changed last year. The role of how software developers work, the whole business of software development changed when AI started getting capable enough to actually write code. And any company producing any form of software has to embrace AI. It's not really a decision anymore. In order to keep up and actually looking at what it's capable of doing, finding security holes, testing, automating testing, some of the legwork, donkey work tasks that we all hate, documenting and all those kind of things. There are lots and lots of ways that AI can be leveraged. And of course, Idera as a company is very much all in on AI. We believe that is a useful tool. And Embarcadero are no different from, we are owned by Idera, so Embarcadero are no different from anybody else. Of course, where appropriate, we would leverage AI, but that doesn't mean to say we're going to AI slop things. We might create a few calculator apps, but joking apart, I mean, of course, and someone was saying, oh, the answers that you give in your emails, are those using AI to generate them? No, actually, I do what people have done for many years. I Google search things, or I just think them outside of my head. But of course, going forwards, I will use Kai for it. It is what it is. So that's it. Are there any other questions you particularly want to address, guys? Or I think we've
there's one notice that just came in, which I think is very important. Is asking about the licensing and ownership of the code that Kai generates. So there are two things to notice here. First, we Embarcadero are not interacting in any way with your code. Your code doesn't get to an Embarcadero server to be analyzed or sent to an AI engine or whatever. It's a direct communication. So ultimately, what happens to the code, the fact that your code IP is protected when you're sharing or not, and the rights to use what is generated is something that you stipulate with the provider you're using, with Anthropic, with GitHub, OpenAI, or Google, or any of the other providers. In most cases, you have full rights of the code that is generated. You consider it yours and use it in your application. But to be correct, I mean, this is a contract you have to sign with one of the vendors. Even for the free accounts, you still have to agree, have a license agreement with one of the vendors that is going to provide the information. Now, the exception, of course, if you are installing something locally, well, for LM Studios, you also need to accept a EULA, because it's still a product, even if it's free. For Olama is really open source, so you can just download it and install it, but it has rules. And actually, Olama behind the scene is provided by Facebook. So there is some licensing information and usage information that's worth checking. But again, you can, in most cases, become the owner of the code that you vibe coded, that you ask the engine to generate. This does not completely exonerate you. I mean, if that code ends up being a perfect copy of someone else IP or protected code, you might still get to justify it somehow, but that's honestly an extreme case. And it, again, would be exactly the same regardless of the fact you're using Kai or just using a chat for OpenAI or a command line interface for another tool. We are not involved in any transaction or operation that has to do with AI. We just provide the tooling that integrates with the IDE, makes it easy to do all of this from the IDE, allows these engines to talk to the IDE and ask them to use open tools APIs, but also proprietary commands, like, because compiling is not part of the RAD Studio open tools API, but Kai can compile and then read the error messages of the compilation and adjust on it. Again, regardless of you're using Anthropic, using Google, you're using another vendor.
Yeah, I just want to call out this message I put on the screen. David I is answering questions in the chat as always, but David I was a little bit ill just recently, which is why, I mean, he's posted this publicly, otherwise I wouldn't show the chat. But David, from all of us, we're thinking about you, and good to see you're on the mend. I know it's a uphill slope, but we're always thinking of you, always, all of us, Marco and myself and the rest as well. Ben doesn't. Ben says, no, I don't care. I'm kidding. He's got a good sense of humor. He was yeah. Well, anyway, David good luck, my friend. And David I was saying, was Kai built with Kai? I believe Kai, they did use Kai.
Yeah, I believe it was built with Kai. We can get confirmation, but that's
it makes sense to dog food, your own code anyway. If you're going to write something like Kai, why wouldn't you? There's no better way than finding out where the corner cases are than actually using it. I don't think there are any other questions to really address. Most of them, some people saying, I absolutely hate this. I think everything should be free. Yeah, I get that. As I explained, this is why we're still here, because it isn't free.
Yeah, I noticed someone saying, "Oh, I can use the CLI tools for free." Well, yes, but the usage, the free usage quota is generally extremely limited. You have to pay the vendors, and what you have to pay AI vendors these days, it's a little more, I mean, per month that what
Actually,
we are asking.
there's another issue about that as well, which is something that Richard Hatherall, who some of you may know, he pointed out that he uses an enterprise subscription, even though it's just him. The reason being, I forget which tool it was, but if he doesn't use the enterprise subscription for Claude Code or whatever it was, they use your source code to train their models. And he doesn't want that for obvious reasons. He doesn't want to give away his IP. So he pays for this enterprise subscription for Claude Code. So if you're using free tools, you know what they always say, if the product is free, you are the product. And that unfortunately is true, that, you know, Google has been around for years. It's a great search engine, but all the time, what were they doing? They were using it to learn about you so they could then monetize. Now, I like, you know, personalized search results from Google. What I don't like is the fact that they know absolutely everything. They know more about me than I know about me. So yes, there are free tools, but just be aware that in an enterprise environment, that might not necessarily be what you want to do. With some people saying the URL doesn't work. Yes, the website is taking a while to get going. I'm sorry about that.
Maybe this is a question for Marco, and I think this is okay to answer. Peter would really like to know if Kai can use copyrighted software libraries. I don't think there are any restrictions. There are no practical restrictions there. It can work with any library.
Yeah, it can work with any library of code, but of course, if you are trying to use like components that are, for which there is enough information online, meaning in terms of source code, demos, examples, and knowledge that the LLMs have acquired over time, then they can probably do a very good job in processing and helping. If you have like a gigantic library that is private, and so no one has ever accessed the source code, including the LLMs, then, I mean, you can still get information. You can still send like a lot of code over. That might consume a lot of tokens, but that's a separate point. So it's generally easier and better to use it, not if the libraries are free or open source. That doesn't really matter. If the library are well-known, used, and there are a lot of demos out there, and I know some of the RAD Studio component vendors share a lot of documentation, a lot of demos publicly, a little source code on GitHub for demos. And so from those demos, the LLMs probably have learned how to use those components and libraries and can help you there better. But in theory, I mean, anything would do.
Ben said his calculator app supported dark mode. I wonder if it used my dark mode unit, because that's very widely used. And now, to be fair, I should confess that actually I managed to do that because Marco had some really good example code, and I pinched it and turned it into a unit at some point. But I wouldn't be surprised if the AI suggests, I'm going to look at the code at some point and see if it did actually use my dark mode. Now, it's completely allowed to do that because it's open source and it's free and all the rest of it. But yeah, you know, you never know when it's doing. By the way, I just want to call this particular comment out because it's from Anders Rebrand, who's a very good Delphi developer. Now, I know Andreas personally, and he does not like AI. And as he points out, you can still continue developing entirely without AI if you want to. If you choose, Dalia Prashnikar is very well known in the community as well. Dalia does not like AI at all. She's made that absolutely 100% clear. She's not the only one. There's a few others as well. If you do not want to use AI, as a policy, we do not enable it in RAD Studio. There is no AI in RAD Studio turned on by default. Smart Code Insight and Kai, you both have to physically turn them on. In fact, one of the questions is saying, I've installed Kai and I don't know how to make it work. Go to .wiki about it. It tells you how to do. But that's the point, that we are not forcing you to use this. If you don't want to pay for Kai, and I know lots of people are unhappy that you pay for it, it's a commercial product, then you do not have to use it. And are there alternatives out there? Yes, there are. We believe that ours will be a good solution, and we believe that as we continue to develop it as a company, in conjunction with the developers, Team Kasabam, a part of that as well, we will improve it and make it better and better and better. That's on us. You will not renew next year if Kai doesn't give you some genuine value. And so we have to, as a commercial imperative, improve Kai and make sure it's worthwhile and useful. So, but if you just don't want to use AI, don't worry. We're not making you do that. It's off by default, and it always will be for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Sorry, there's one thing I wanted to mention, a clarification, but also a request, because I'm seeing some comments in the chat. So first thing, there are two things you have to do to get the Kai trial on your existing RAD Studio 12 or 13. The first is download it. It's available in Gedit, as 100 or so people have already seen, because we've seen like a number of downloads going through. And that's one piece. It will also be available on the myembarcadero.com portal. If it's not there, I'm trying to juggle multiple things, but it's going to get there maybe tomorrow, if not today. The Gedit download is the easiest one. It just starts the installation smoothly and everything works. But there is also another piece, as some people probably have figured out. We also need the trial key. Now, there is a BOGO page that is linked in the doc wiki. There is a doc wiki page for Kai that is live and is linked there. I think the page is also linked from the product. If you don't have the license active, Kai will provide the link to how do I get a license. There's also emails going out, if not today, tomorrow, with the link. Now, I think someone mentioned in the chat that they asked for a key and it's not coming through. If you can email us, like marco.cantor@embarcadero.com, or any of us, we can try to figure out. We tested it, it was working. So, but things happen. Software is software, and at times
the servers because of all the people downloading.
So let us know, and we can check like specific just with your email. Well, the email you use for registering is probably important, so we can double check if the license key was generated, if it was stuck in the email. Again, we tested it. We assumed it was working. If it doesn't, let us know. The email should be almost instantaneous. I mean, yes, wait a few minutes, but not more than that.
Yeah, and again, people saying, "Oh, use AI to fix this issue and that issue." As I said before, there's a different team, and the IDE team, RAD Studio team, the Delphi team, the C++ Builder team are mostly separate, and they are still working on the next release of RAD Studio. And yes, of course, we go through and prioritize the list of issues and things like that as well. Someone's saying, will you use it to improve your bad code? I don't know. I don't think they mean me specifically. I get it. Yes, of course. I mean, as I said before, one of the great things about AI is how it's actually going to raise the game of all developers, not just us, but every kind of developer. But treat it with caution. AI is not the fix for everything. It's not the magic spoon of medicine that's going to fix every disease that there is out there. I've seen a lot of new things in my many years as a developer, and some of them were genuinely great and useful, like the internet, for example, and fiber optic internet, and all those cool things. But, trust but verify that your AI is doing the right thing, and that's very important for us. We go out to multiple countries. When you see me do the webinars, I specifically call out all the many countries that RAD Studio is used in. It's used in 100 and something countries, and lots of different setups, big blue chip companies, aerospace companies, satellite making companies. Seriously, there's code out there that's helping land things on planets and all sorts out there, and all sorts of incredible things that Delphi and C++ Builder are used in. And you know, it's a complicated business getting RAD Studio out the door, and we're always trying to make every release better. And I know sometimes you feel like that does not happen. We do our best, and we will keep doing our best. That's what we live for. Certainly, Marco, myself, and Ben, and the others that you know. That's all we want, is to make it as best as it can be. Okay. I think we're done, gentlemen. I think we should probably call it a day. Otherwise, we're here forever. There's so many comments. I'm very. We had a massive amount of people join the webinar and stick it through 99% of it until the boring chat part. Any final word from you, Marco, before we go?
No, I just want to reiterate the fact we're really excited about this release. I think it changed the way you can work with the product if you want, because again, it's not required, but it can really make a big difference. I've been using it here and there with the little development I'm doing, and I found it quite handy a few times, specifically for some like tedious type of coding. So the product is there. We really recommend it to give it a go. Install the software, get a trial key, play with it. Use it a bit. You might like it, you might not like it. That's understandable, but we think it's really allows to bring Delphi and RAD Studio and C++ Builder to a new era, which is already here, and it's important because it allows you to do that. At the same time, you're still using the IDE that you like and you've used for many years. You can use all of the features, and we're not dropping the RAD model saying, oh, you should, if you're vibe coding, you should like create code to generate buttons by like say tbutton.create. No, you can vibe code and get the button right on the screen in the designer, following the RAD process, following the approach that we think most of you are using, and stick with it within the environment that is our environment. So really happy about it, and it's a great tool. Use it. Let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like. Our emails are available. And
yeah, and this is the initial release as well, so there's going to be some bits where, you know, perhaps with enough people using it, we'll go, oh, maybe this was a better idea to have done it this way. And that's what feedback is for. Give us feedback, good or bad. Be polite when you're giving us bad feedback. Some people forget, you know, to maintain a professional level of conversation, shall we say. But I get it, you know, sometimes being a coder is a very emotional experience when you're producing code. I know that. It's inside me, you know, what's inside me is being a developer. But give us feedback, and we'll, you know, a good idea is a good idea. If you give us a good idea, if we can act on it, of course we'll choose it. So I think give the final word to Ben, GM. Is there anything you want to add, Ben?
I'll just again say thanks for joining. Thanks for the interaction, all of the feedback. I'm sure this is just the beginning of the feedback that we'll receive. I know that, you know, this isn't a tool that is going to appeal to everyone. I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people, but not everyone. Just get in the trial and try it yourself. And if it adds value, then, you know, pull the trigger. We think that almost everyone will see that it adds value, but if it doesn't, that's okay. We're still going to support our customers, our users, whether they're using Kai or not. I come from a product management background myself, coming from Ultra Edit. So I spent 2 decades of my professional career interacting with customers on a daily basis, mostly developers. So I understand a lot about what makes them tick and what they like and what they don't like. And I've been speaking to a lot of you, actually reaching out to you and talking to you and collecting your feedback on where we are as a platform. So I want you to know that all of that feedback is being synthesized and internalized and acted upon to the degree that we reasonably can. And Kai is not going to deter from any of those efforts to continually improve Delphi, C++ Builder, our entire platform. So that's my commitment to everyone. Really excited about today's launch, and yeah, can't wait to see what our customers do with it.
Excellent. All right. Well, on that note, I think that we will call it a day. It's been a long period of time. I feel like I've been awake for 5 days. I'm sure Marco feels exactly the same.
You'll get another cup of coffee in.
Yeah. I have my energy drink in my Star Trek glass, of course. You've got to have a Star Trek glass. Okay. Well, thanks everybody, and thanks for the positive comments as well. And get in touch if you've got some feedback as well. We're very excited. It's a big deal for us. We think this is a very interesting and positive direction, and thanks to the Casapon team as well, who have worked very hard on this, as have everybody in the company, marketing team as well. We're going to find out what's happening on the website. I understand there is an issue with the website at the moment. There's a lot of moving parts. It's just one of those moving parts that haven't quite come together at the right time, but we will get it fixed. I'm sure Ben's about to go and have a long conversation with someone about it. All right. But anyway, that's it from us. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. See you next Tuesday, I think, is my next webinar. Bye-bye.